Right, let's take you live to this important briefing now. It's been a challenging week for Rand Water due to the ongoing challenges in resolving water issues both in the city of Johannesburg and in Tshwane. They're having a briefing in Glen Vista in the south of Joburg. Let's take you there live.
Before we even go to why we're here, I think let me start by introducing our leaders who are going to be addressing us, also sharing that information with us. Firstly, let me start by introducing the chairperson of the board, Ntate Ramateu Munyokolo, the chairperson of the board. He's also going to be giving us closing remarks and also an overview of the briefing. Next to the chairperson, we have our CE, Ntate Sipho Musai. He's going to be giving a presentation, and also you're going to be getting an opportunity to ask questions. Next to CE, we have our COO, Ntate Mahlomola Mehlo, who is going to be assisting with regards to questions. He is quite involved with operations, so he's here to assist and provide information where it's needed. So let's start then with the briefing, and welcome all, and thank you very much, leadership, for being here. Right. The purpose of this briefing, you know what, before even that, let me just acknowledge our leadership. We do have a EXCO, we have our Chief Strategy Officer, Ntate Kubeka. We also have our CFO, Mematli Sonyembe. We have the Acting Chief Shared Services Officer, Hosieme Alaris, welcome, and I'm acknowledging Rand Water colleagues and Acting GM for Communication and Stakeholder Relations. Thank you very much. Now coming to the purpose of why we're here, the reason why we've called for this briefing. We, as Rand Water, would like to provide an update on the escalating debt owed by municipalities, and obviously the failure by these municipalities to respect their bulk water purchase and debt settlement agreements. But also we want to respond to the sentiments that are being made regarding Rand Water's capacity to supply water to different municipal customers, especially the city of Tshwane. We want to speak to that, to address and really give an indication of where we are and what we're capable of as Rand Water. And lastly, we're going to outline proposals and solutions with regards to what Rand Water can offer and what we are proposing just going forward. So with that, I'm saying welcome, and we'll start the program. Let me welcome our first speaker, and it will be Ntate Munyokolo, who's going to give us an overview of this briefing. Over to you, Chair.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, Dumelang. I just thought I should give an overview of Rand Water so that we all appreciate who is Rand Water. The organization, though, is 120 years old this year as we speak, was also established in terms of Chapter 6 of the Water Services Act of 108 of 1996. We have been established to provide bulk water services to other water services authorities and institutions in a specific service area. However, from time to time, in terms of Section 63, the Minister may direct us to provide services in other municipalities outside our area of operation or within our area of operation. In terms of our establishment, we are a Schedule 3B, which means that we are a public entity in terms of the Public Management Act, and Service 3B also means that we should be on our own. So we don't receive any grants from National Treasury. We run this entity as a business. Therefore, we are self-funded. With the revenue that we receive from our clients, which are mainly 18 municipalities in Gauteng, the whole of Gauteng, the northern part of the Free State, northwest up to Rustenburg, part of in particular the high veld of Mpumalanga, With that revenue that we receive, we spend the revenue mainly on chemicals, electricity maintenance, and of course on our most important assets, which is our employees. The suppliers that we have as an organization, we service our bond. We are a credit listed entity. I think we are the first one credit listed entity in terms of all these state-owned enterprises, and we also use the funds for refurbishment. Of course, we have a responsibility to upgrade our infrastructure from time to time, our purification work, pump stations, reservoirs, and pipelines. Our asset life cycle as a Rand Water in terms of the deployment of funds is that we start from the design. We design our infrastructure, we buy raw material, we do construction. Beyond that, we do repair and maintenance, and we also do end-of-life replacement, which triggers either disposal and other activities that we engage in. We just want to highlight the financial challenges that Rand Water has in terms of performance. We receive this amount that you see here from local municipalities. The money that is due to Rand Water as we speak now is 6,844.472 million. Out of that money, what is recognized is less than the money that you see. So 2.2 billion 87 is what you call expected credit loss. And the National Treasury has raised a concern around this money. Because we are a credit listed entity, our funders have also raised concern around this money. Further than that, in terms of the IRFS, this amount of 797 or 798 if you want, is not recognized. That effectively means that when we close our books, only 3.9 billion or close to 4 billion will only be recognized. That's what it means. You will notice also that over time, our debtors days from July this year, we're at 71. We are now at 109. These are monies owed by municipalities. If you look at our expected credit loss since 2017, we were at 755 million. We are now standing at 2 billion and 87. So that's where we are in terms of the challenges that are created to Rand Water by municipalities. I don't want to deal more with that slide. I just want to demonstrate also that in terms of our debtors days, in 2014-15, we are standing at 35 days, meaning that when you invoice municipalities, they will pay within 35 days. Currently, they are paying after 109 or in 109 days. So these numbers demonstrate that we are going a wrong way. Municipalities are not paying Rand Water and are not paying Rand Water on time. And you can also see the expected credit loss. In the last 6 months or so, we have met with municipalities on many occasions, and those meetings were initiated by Rand Water. Some of those meetings were initiated by the minister. I just want to indicate that in terms of Tshwane, we have met Tshwane in the last 6 months. In January, we met Tshwane twice. We met with the executive mayor twice. It may not necessarily be the current executive mayor, but we met with the institution led by the executive mayor twice, on the 24th and on the 30th. In April, we met them on the 25th. In May, we met Tshwane on the 26th with the minister. And issues that were raised in our meetings with Tshwane were issues pertaining to infrastructure and issues pertaining to their failure to pay us on time. And throughout these interactions, in particular at the time when we meet with Tshwane, through our own initiative or their own initiative, we have raised the issue of our infrastructure. When we meet with municipalities, they all have a sense of what does rainwater infrastructure looks like. However, we don't know what is happening in the infrastructure of all municipalities. So we are an open book and they are a closed book. So they know what is happening in rainwater. We don't know what is happening in rainwater. And in terms of the interventions on debt collection, I will not go through this, but you can see for yourself that we have not restricted any municipality. All municipalities have 100% access to water. And these are the municipalities, if you look at it, that the green ones are performing very well, and the yellow ones are performing, however, there needs to be improvement. If you look at the next page, these are the defaulting municipalities led by our beloved Emfuleni. But you can also notice that we have not restricted water on any of them. The challenge that we have as rainwater is that in stricter business terms, this kind of trading with municipalities where we offer services to municipalities that we know don't have capacity to pay us is bad trading. But we continue to do that. But we continue also to engage municipalities to demonstrate that our approach is premised on cooperative government or interaction with our customer base. Is that during COVID, we issued or offered municipalities a relief program that will enable them over time, because of the inherent challenges that were found during COVID, to be able to pay their debt. You will notice that some of those municipalities, they honored the agreements. The ones on my right-hand side, led by Emfuleni, Govenbeki, Mirafon City, did not honor those agreements. And that's probably one of the reasons why we are here. We just want to indicate that despite our efforts as an organization to continuously engage municipalities, we find it difficult to get the funds that we seek from municipalities. Some municipalities literally refuse to engage with rainwater. They refuse to sign agreements that will enable them to pay rainwater, despite our offer of interest holiday. So that's a challenge that we have as rainwater. I'll leave it here and allow the CEO to add.
Thank you, Modulo Stulo. KJ. Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I thought very briefly I should give the status with respect to our operational performance and additional capacity that we're currently adding into the system and plans to add going forward. Firstly, to dispel this notion that rainwater is a problem. We don't have a problem. I just wanted to indicate from our side, this side of bulk, what are we doing, how we operate the system, and indeed give you that confidence and assurance that from the bulk water provision point of view, as the Chair has indicated, our responsibility is to provide bulk. And of course, our customers then reticulate into individual households. I think we have seen lately that anybody and everybody that is an on-site challenge at the suburb or street level, we are seeing a very disturbing trend that if anybody has got a power outage, instead of attending, water outage, instead of attending it at a municipal level, at the street level, people come here to rainwater. We need to emphasize that in the first place, that we are a bulk water producer. We abstract water in bulk and supply it in bulk in municipalities. We are not able to reticulate further that. So I think the first thing is, please, as a point of call, if you have challenges, we advise that you check with the municipality first before you simply attribute it to us as rainwater, because we are exactly that. We are a bulk water producer. I also get a lot of calls around people not having water. It's very difficult from a bulk point of view to understand exactly what is happening. I can only tell if we are, undergoing an operational maintenance, or if we have a power interruption that is affecting our operations. We all the time. This is the second thing that we want to dispel. Every single time we have a challenge that is related to power outage, we communicate timelessly with our municipality. So this notion that we are not, it's incorrect and it needs to be dispelled immediately. We cannot give you a notice in advance if we are having a power outage. We have a lot of trips. We all know that the grid is starting to stabilize now. Although load shedding has come down, as I will indicate later on, we still have a lot of trips. If we have a lot of trips, it takes time, unfortunately, for the system to recover. And certainly in certain areas, it does take 7 days. If we look at the nature of the business that we run, we purify water in the Vaal. We have to pump it from our purification works into our booster station and further pump in our tertiary sites. If we run out of power, it means we are not producing water. The first thing that you'll have is that the system will have air, what we call airlocks. You have to take those airlocks out. Because of the vandalism that we've been experiencing in recent times, we cannot use our pressure release valves. We have to scour or release that water. So it really takes time, even if water is flowing, for the water to flow 100% to get into the reservoirs and eventually to municipalities. It does take time. And we also know that most municipalities, and most of them have been frank, they rely on our bulk reservoirs, because invariably most of them have a challenge with their own reservoirs and their ability to boost. So although our reservoirs have water, it takes time for them to take water from our reservoirs into their households, precisely because of the challenges that most of our municipalities are indicating insofar as the storage capacity from their side. And some of them, they even come to our storage reservoirs to have a look. But I think we've been, Chair, quite frank in terms of the number of reservoirs that we have, and we battle to understand how many reservoirs that they have on their side. So I thought very quickly I should just indicate where we are and how we're doing. In essence, we purify water in our 2 purification works, and we distribute to municipalities in large quantity through a network of over 3,000 kilometers of large diameter pipes. We have about 60 reservoirs now, with the additional ones that we have added, through which, from which the municipalities draw water from ourselves. On average, we produce about 4,642, and as I indicate here, we do peak at about just over 5,000 million liters of water a day. The consumers at the other end of the value chain that benefit from our water provision is approximately 18 million. So we supply well over 200 liters per person per day, rainwater. I repeat, we supply on average 200 liters per person per day, just over that, north of that. The well average is sitting at 173. So you cannot begin your conversation by saying we have a demand and supply problem. No. Do your numbers. 18 million people, 5,000 when we peak, during peak demands. That's sufficient water to go about for everybody. But we all know, and I'll demonstrate, that from our side we only have 4%, 4.5% and about non-revenue water. Municipalities have got 60% non-revenue water and it's climbing. On average, as the minister shared in the last few weeks, that the current non-revenue water of all municipalities in South Africa is 46%. So you can imagine if I give you this amount of water and half or 60% of it you lose it, you're going to have challenges. The elephant that in the room that nobody wants to talk about in South Africa is non-revenue water in municipalities. What are we doing about it? It has to be attended. It cannot be that when you have problems, you want water to pump more water into the system. It's just not going to work because the leaks are going to be bigger. So these leaks have to be attended. So I think that's the first thing that we need to dispel. These are our averages. They are in our annual report. We report quarterly, we report half yearly because we're a Johannesburg Security Exchange listed company. The averages do indicate that we can easily meet, and we are certainly meeting the current demands. Even when we peak in summer, we are able to do so. But the issue is what happens to that water. So non-revenue water becomes a challenge. So you have people coming to rainwater saying, we can't pay you because we are losing water. The solution is fix your leaks. And indeed you'll be able to sell the water that we give to you. So, in essence, as I've explained before many a time, we buy raw water from the Department of Water and Sanitation. We use what you call raw water supply system, and then through the raw water supply system, we purify water in Vereeniging. We have 2 purification works. We also call them pump stations because after we purify from the 2 purification works, 1 Vereeniging, 2 Zekerbosch, we also pump. So all these purification works are in the southern tip of Gauteng. So you'll imagine from Vereeniging to bring water up to here into the reef, all the way to Rustenburg, to the west, Rustenburg, and Tembisilahani, Governing Beke to the east areas of Atteridgeville. We have to pump that water. So from the purification work we pump, that's essentially the primary system. And we also have a booster system. We have these booster stations where we further pump water, and or some of the water goes through our tertiary stations, and then it reaches municipalities who are our customers. So in this slide, we're just sharing quickly our treatment capacity. As I indicated, the maximum pumping capacity or purification and pumping capacity at our purification works is 5,000 plus megaliters of water a day. We have pump sizes ranging from 100 to 200 megaliters. Most of them are double stage or multi-stage pumps. One pumps into the other and then we boost. That's how much of energy we require. And of course, as I indicate, we have booster stations and tertiary stations. Through that process, the water reaches our consumers. From Zekerbosch, we pump through all those booster stations. And in this slide, you see from eNCA system, we have Meerday, Walter-Frieden, Waterfall, Krugersdorp reservoirs, and the beneficiaries Joburg, Red-West, Mogale, Rustenburg, and Merafong. Sorkopis, Johannesburg, Ekurhuleni, and various industries benefit from the system. Palmit, through a network of reservoirs, Joburg, City of Johannesburg, Tshwane, and Ekurhuleni, Madibeng benefit from the system. And to the east, we have Mpumalanga municipalities, including Tshwane and Ekurhuleni, eastern parts of Tshwane and Ekurhuleni, benefiting from that system. Our water goes into municipalities such as Tembisilahani, Governing Beke, and Victor Kanye in Mpumalanga. Lesedi, local municipality that is also in Gauteng, benefits from that Mapleton system. And then similarly, from Vereeniging, we also pump through Eikenhof, Sorkopis, and what we call VVS, Vereeniging van der Bilpark system. This essentially takes water to Sasolburg and Vereeniging areas. From Sorkopis, as I indicated, and Ekenhof, those are the municipalities that benefit Johannesburg, Ekurhuleni, Renwest, Machale, Rustenburg, and Merafu, together with mines. I think we must not forget that we supply water to mines. So our sustainability is also a function of when we get paid to municipality, we can honor contracts that we have with mines and industry, because water is life. Water is supplied not only, clean water is not only supplied to municipalities.
All right, Rand Water CEO Sipho Masai speaking at that press briefing in Glen Vista in the south of Johannesburg. They're briefing the public about water supply shortages and problems that Rand Water is facing. And of course, we understand that they are a bulk water supplier. Of course, they also supply to different municipalities such as your Joburg Water, which is going to put us through about 44 hours of no water supply from next week, and has warned through a statement that as Joburg residents, we need to make sure that we fill up those buckets so that we are not left wanting. Rand Water talking about debt from municipalities as well, which has been a serious problem in terms of state utilities, including your Eskom, City Power, etc. They are owed billions of rand from municipalities, including your Tshwane and the city of Johannesburg. And in that particular presentation earlier, the chairperson of Rand Water just outlining the fact that they haven't reached any agreement in terms of repayments with any of the municipalities just yet. This is on the back of that presentation by Silius Brink, the mayor of the city of Tshwane, yesterday, just talking about the fact that every time he tries to consult about access to water in the city of Tshwane, he doesn't get answers allegedly from Rand Water. So I think they're having this particular briefing to also respond to that.